It's time. This is the Media Night Podcast.
Welcome to the Media Night Podcast. I'm your host, Zach, and with me today I have my co-host, Ty.
Hey, how's it going?
So Ty's joining me today. He was here last week, but he was off mic, so he's going to pop in every now and then instead of me sounding like I'm talking to myself. This month being October, it's our, spooky season. So this month, me and Ty, we're just going to be covering horror movies. We're going to be streaming horror games. I'm going to be playing Resident Evil Biohazard, and depending on how long that takes me, I will then turn around and play Resident Evil The Village. That's what I'll be doing, but I am also going on vacation next week, so we will be taking a week off. But Ty will be streaming Days Gone, and then when I get back and we're both able to play together, we'll be streaming the Dark Pictures anthology, Man of the Medan, or something along those lines. Yeah, so stay tuned. And we're doing our Spooktober. So yeah, let's get excited for that. So this week, we're actually covering Army of the Dead. And I'll do a little bit of talking about Army of Thieves, so we did also watch that movie as the prequel to this one, which it was good. I don't know. What did you think about it, Ty?
Yeah, it was pretty interesting.
Right? It's a cool concept.
Yeah.
So before we get into that, we're gonna talk about the stuff that I watched or listened to this week. And I have to say, listen to wise, the new episode of Marvel's Wastelanders Doom, right? They're just getting further into the story. To be honest, not too much is happening, right? So that's that. Yeah, we've had a little issue at work, so I haven't really been able to listen to podcasts this week. So hopefully next week that'll pick up. But again, I'm only here for 3 days next week, and then I'm on vacation. So this week I watched the season finale of Prince of Tennis under 17 World Tournament, and I'm pretty sure it was the season finale. It was episode 13, and he played against the Prince of France, and he won, right? Giving Japan the victory essentially, and they're going to be playing against Germany next, which is where Tezuka is, right? So we're going to get some rematches of the German team versus Japan. Next up, I watched the second part of Power Rangers Dino Fury, which is the final part of this series, and it was okay. Like, I didn't hate it. I'm not the biggest fan of the actors, but these actors can actually act. You know what I mean? It's just, I guess, the writing for like they had like their weekly story type of thing, and those I really didn't care for. Those are obviously for like the children. Yeah, so the background story they had going is actually really interesting. It turns out that the Pink Ranger is one of the aliens. Yeah, and so basically the season finale happens and they take off and they're in space. So a lot of people are speculating that they're going to be using more Sentai footage, and basically the Sentai footage is the original Japanese footage that Power Rangers comes from, right? Super Sentai in Japan, and Power Rangers steals the footage to make Power Ranger, right? So you can usually, if you watch Power Rangers, you can see the difference, right? You can pretty much tell like, oh, this is the Japanese footage versus, right? And normally the Japanese footage is a few years older, so you can just kind of tell by the quality, but they're getting pretty close, so now quality is kind of matching up, right? But basically they take off to space, and that same cast from Dino Fury is actually going to be continuing on. So they're getting a whole new season. And so, yeah. So, like I was saying, people are thinking that the Sentai that they're going to follow after or use basically it has 12 Rangers, right? So, like, they're going to be going out into space just like collecting random ass people like from all over. It's going to be interesting if they go this route. And apparently, Billy and Zach from the original Power Rangers is also going to be coming back I don't know what's gonna happen. It's gonna be sick. Maybe we get a nice reunion of the old classic Rangers minus Trini. May she rest in peace. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people are also casting like her daughter, right? So like they'll have her daughter come in to replace her. Like the Trini Kwan character had a daughter, and so she's gonna be on the show. And so we'll get our yellow OG Yellow Ranger via her daughter, right? I can't see them bringing back like I don't see the Pink Ranger coming back, but I mean, maybe if they got that money, you know what I'm saying? Like Netflix bought them, right? So like we'll see what they do with Power Rangers, right? So like this is supposed to be the last season of like these like kiddie versions of Power Rangers, and then they're gonna start making like their own. Netflix is gonna be making their own thing, like rebooting the whole franchise. So we'll probably go back to like a Mighty Morphin style Power Rangers. I don't know. We'll see. We have to see what they do. But apparently, also they're going to be making two different seasons, like one for adults and like one for kids, right? So that's going to be interesting. Like as long as we still get Power Rangers, I don't really give a I don't care, you know. So next up, we have She-Hulk episode 7, and this episode, she finally goes on a date with some dude. I forget what his name is, and yada yada yada. They finally sleep together, and then she just ghosts her, right? And so she's all upset, but then she has to go up and see Blonsky, and apparently his like tracker something happened, and so they go and they fix it, and then as she's about to leave, her car gets destroyed by fucking man bull or some bullshit, right? And I was like, what the fuck, bro? Like, you know what I mean? And then this other dude named like El Aguita or something, right? It just means like the eagle in Spanish. And just kind of like this nonsensical back and forth. And I'm just like, I don't give a flying fuck about any of this. Like, what the hell? But then, so she's like stuck there for the day. So she's walking around and then she walks in on like this like meeting, and everybody's kind of like sitting around and they're like talking about like their feelings and stuff and yada yada. And I actually enjoyed this episode for some weird reason. Like there was no action, but to me, the comedy in this one was actually like really good, right? So she sits in on the meeting, she starts connecting with the people. She has a really good day, and then her car gets fixed, and so then she bounces. And like yeah, that's a very quick description of the episode, but that's essentially all that happens. And then at the end of the episode, you see the guy that she like hooked up with. He took her blood when she was human. So this guy is working for this like evil internet organization. So we still haven't seen who the big overall bad guy is. So I'm assuming whoever's running this website is the big bad. You know what I mean? Which is probably the leader, which will then lead into Captain America, which, like I said last week, doesn't make sense, but hey, what the fuck ever. I enjoyed this episode of She-Hulk. Surprising. So it's about time. It only took 7 episodes. I'm still waiting for Daredevil. You know what I mean? So lastly, I watched Dahmer, Monster, Jeffrey Dahmer's story. And it was actually really well done. Like, buddy, I forget his name, Evan Peters. Like, fuck, that guy looked like him, sounded like him. It was pretty creepy. The series is really well done. Just telling like basically all the shit that he's done, and well, not everything, right? Because they didn't show him kill 17 people. I don't know how to describe it, but like the series is really well done. But yeah, so I would say definitely go and check that out if you're into those serial killer things. I don't know. I like my horror movies, and I don't understand the whole serial killer thing. So yeah, I watch all the series to try and understand like why. You know what I mean? I don't get it. So, but yeah, if you're into that thing, definitely check that out. And video game. I finished Assassin's Creed Brotherhood for the 6th time or whatnot. But come November, me and Ty are gonna be putting together some YouTube videos of all the stories, right? I have my footage of Assassin's Creed 1 all the way up until Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And we're going to be turning those games into, I don't know, I guess micro movies, right? If you cut everything out, it's about 2 to 3 hours. Next month of November is going to be our Assassin's Creed month. We'll probably start it off with an Assassin's Creed review for the movie, right? And then we got to wait for the new games to drop. So November, we're going to be dropping all of those little videos. And yeah, so keep an eye out for that. And I think that is about it. You have anything else, Ty, that you watch?
No, nothing new.
We have the upcoming releases for Netflix, right? Netflix decided for some reason to drop everything on the 7th, which is the Friday, the day after I leave for my trip, so I can't even download all this shit so I can watch it on the 8-hour plane ride I'm going to be on. You know what I mean? Some bullshit, Netflix. So, on the 7th, we're getting The Midnight Club, we're getting Oddballs, we're getting The Redeem Team, we're getting Glitch, The Luckiest Girl Alive, The Mole, Tiger and Bunny, Season 3, I think. And I'm excited as hell for the Tiger and Bunny. It's one of my favorite Netflix series right now. Basically, superheroes, but anime. It's dope. But it's not like super over exaggerated like most anime. So it's very down to earth. And then coming out on Wednesday, Ty has on the list Mr. Harrigan's Phone. I have no idea what that is, but I'm sure it looked good, so I'll check it out. October 19th, we're getting The School for Good and Evil, which looks pretty good. I mean, I really like all that fantasy stuff, so like it looks pretty good. We did get a trailer for the new You, which doesn't come out until February, which is kind of upsetting. Big Mouth is coming out, season 6, October 28th. So that's something to look forward to at the end of the month. And then we got a release date for The Witcher, Blood Origin, December 25th. Why the fuck are they dropping that on Christmas? But yeah, that's pretty much all the releases that I think that we might check out for this show. So yeah, stay tuned for that stuff. Okay, so lastly, we have this little Deadpool 3 teaser, right? We got a couple of them, or a whole bunch of posters everywhere, a new Deadpool symbol with like the 3 claw marks, and basically the first trailer or teaser is Deadpool's like talking, and then he goes, "Hey Hugh, you wanna be Wolverine one last time?" And he's like, "Sure." Right? And he's like walking up the stairs. You barely even see like Hugh Jackman. And the next one, the two of them are sitting there and they're like talking back and forward, and basically supposed to be describing the movie, but some music starts playing, right? So you don't really hear any of that. And yeah, so that's pretty much the last thing I guess cover. So yeah, let's jump into the movie. Army of the Dead, Zack Snyder, Batista, a bunch of other people that I have no idea, and the guy from that 50 Cent TV show. Power? What's it called?
Yeah,
Overall, I thought it was pretty good. What'd you think about it?
yeah, that's pretty good.
The movie starts with some shots of these military people, and they're basically transporting some kind of goods. And then we see this like excited couple who just got married. They get into their car and they start driving. We cut back to the army people. They're trying to figure out what the hell they're transporting. They're talking about the Holy Grail, the moon, like the original like moon lander, all kinds of weird shit, right? Trying to figure it out. And then we see the couple and they start fooling around in the car. She starts undoing his pants and what grown-ups do. And basically they just crash into each other, and this like the fuck, like, was that little car like just full of gasoline? You know what I'm saying? Like that shit just exploded. Like, so the two cars just ran into each other, exploded, and so whatever they were carrying was released. One of the soldiers reports back, and they get the orders to get the fuck out of there, right? The cargo's opened, like, just stay the fuck away from it. And nobody listens, basically. And boom, a zombie pops out and just murders them all, right? So two of the soldiers kind of get away, and stupidly, one guy falls and triggers his gun, and I'm assuming that leads the zombie to figure out where they were. And then the zombie just comes through and just fucking murks them both. And then the two guards just turn all of a sudden, and then we see the three of them looking down on the city, I guess, right? Now, Ty, the original guy who turned the soldiers, did he have long hair? Was that the king? Like, was that the same guy, or was one of the soldiers the king? Like, none of them had long hair like that.
I think, yeah, that was the guy.
So the guy with the long hair, he was the one who originally turned everybody. So he must have been like
Yeah,
like somebody in the military. So the military was fucking around with shit and created zombies.
yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Okay. They did, yeah, so that was something they did not explain. And the guy had like dog tags on. So like the whole time I was like, who the fuck is this guy? You know what I mean? So after that, we get a montage of Vegas basically just getting overrun by these zombies. We have zombie titties bouncing around. We have Elvis's getting ripped apart. Then we also get introduced to the main cast, and it was a pretty cool scene. We see all the like a few of the members, and they're all like showing pictures of like their family or whatever about them, right? So I guess it's only three of the characters, and then one of them just gets smushed, right? So after all of that, they save, I don't know, some secretary of defense or some shit, and as they're leaving, one of their teammates basically just gets grabbed. And this was the stupidest thing. The girl, like she was trying to save this little girl, and the little girl, once this chick gets grabbed, instead of running, she runs to the chick, right? And then the chick grabs her and just starts hugging her. And it's like, no, push the little girl away. Save the little fucking girl. And then all of a sudden, the fucking. Because they're building a wall. So, like, this is like the last piece of the wall. And then they just drop it and smush all of them, little girl included. Which I was like, what the fuck, dude? Like, what? That made no sense. Like, think about that. Like, would you not have pushed the girl away, or would you have grabbed onto her so that you could die with the little girl who you don't even fucking know, right? Like, what the fuck? It was pretty fucking dumb. So next we cut to a diner and we see Scott, who's Dave Batista, and he's watching the news, and we learn in 5 days they're gonna drop a small, like, localized nuke on Vegas, and then Bly Tanaka walks in and he asks for Scott. And then Bly basically recruits Scott and he tells him to get a crew. He's going to need a pilot and like a lock cracker, whatever the fuck they're called. Right? And they want them to steal $200 million in a vault under Las Vegas. We then cut to Kate, and she is at a campsite outside of Vegas, right? Like I guess it's kind of like I don't know what the hell would you call that, right? Like it was full of, like I don't know what it was. I guess it was like people camping out there because they were trying to sneak in to like steal money from the casinos, and it was I don't understand. There was just some sort of like refuge camp outside of like the Vegas wall, and Kate is basically there, and then we see her, she starts getting harassed by this fucking, I don't even know what these guys were, but he basically like border patrol dude named Bert, right? After all of that, right, they basically get away from that. It's whatever, right? So then we get this kind of flashback dream type thing, and we see Kate is actually Scott's daughter, right? And he ends up having to kill his wife because we see she's infected. And then he wakes up and he calls Bly and he accepts the job. And Bly tells him he'll need the pilot and a safecracker. So I was right. So then we cut to Maria, and Scott shows up and he tells her about the job. So they go out to go and recruit the rest of the team. So they show up at this guy named Vander. Then we see them go and recruit the pilot, who should be Chris D'Elia, but because of the scandal, they cut him out of the movie, and so they replaced her or him with, I don't remember what her name is, but In the movie, I'm just going to call her the pilot. So then from the pilot, they go and they pick up this fucking YouTuber. The guy's a fucking YouTuber. Like, he's a social media dude. And they go pick him up to join the team. And then lastly, we see them go and get the safecracker, Ludwig Dieter. Now, cool thing is Ludwig is from the prequel Army of Thieves, right? And that movie is basically about these group of people. They're going to rob vaults, and these vaults are made by this like old German dude who is like this master lock creator. And Ludwig like is obsessed with these like vaults. So he gets recruited in that movie to unlock these, and he unlocks them all. And in that movie, he kind of gets like these dreams of zombies. So one of the other characters says, "Oh yeah, maybe you're just like having premonitions of your death," right? So that kind of foretells what happens in this movie. You know what I mean? But he basically cracks all the saves, and then we find out that the main chick character in that one, wanted to rob a vault in Vegas, but the zombies. So then all this happens, and then he ends up getting recruited again to go and do that last vault, which he was more than happy to, because they only offered him $250,000. And it was like, what the fuck? You offer the pilot $2 million, but the guy you need the most, you only give him $250,000? That guy should have said, "Fuck you guys, give me $3 million." You know what I mean? And they would have made enough to pay him the $3 million easily. They got offered $50 million total to split up, and he was giving people fucking chintzy ass counts of money. You know what I'm saying? Like, they even offered the YouTuber. I swear to God, they offered the YouTuber more money than the fucking safecracker. Like, what? Then we see everyone and they're getting ready, like they're getting all their equipment ready. We then see the whole crew together and Bly goes over the plan. We get this cool montage of how the plan should go. We then cut to Kate and Scott, and Scott basically is asking her, "Hey, I need a favor. We need to get, behind the wall, da 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 da." And basically he offers her $15 million to help him, even though that she's his daughter. But clearly they're having, some kind of issue, right? There's some hatred there, you know what I mean? So the next day, Kate shows up and picks up the group and brings all of them and Bly's head of security, because he was like, "Oh yeah, I gotta come along," right? So clearly this motherfucker was up to like no good, you know what I mean? Right? So she drives them to the quarantine zone, and then as she walks away from the group, she finds like her friend Gita, she finds her kids, and basically they tell her that her mom went in. So Kate comes out all pissed off, and she fucking clocks the coyote, whose name is Lily, and says, "Fuck you. I'm going with you. I got to go and find Gita," right? She might still be alive, right? And so she's not taking no for an answer. So Scott's like, "All right, whatever, I guess you're going to come." So then Scott is also told by Lily that they need one more guy. And it turns out they're going to take in the douchebag, from earlier. What's his name? Bert, right? And so he joins the crew, and then Lily leads the group right in. And right away, they fucking run into a zombie tiger. Like, this shit was fucking wicked. Like, I loved the zombie tiger. That shit was fucking badass, you know what I'm saying? So then Lily shoots Bert to use him as an offering, right? And then we learn about the alpha zombies, how they're faster, smarter, they're more organized, right? The alpha basically accepts, their offering, right? And lets the group move through. So then we see where they take Bert, and he's just dragging him like through one of these hotels and like through a whole bunch of fucking zombies and shit. He's all screaming for his life, and it looks like they're about to kill him, but then the Alpha King shows up, right? And then he picks him up and fucking bites him on the arm, throws him in a pit, and then he basically gets carried out by the other zombies. Like, if you've been listening to this podcast for a while, you guys would know I fucking hate zombies. I think they're the lamest supernatural creatures, right? Like come on, that's not fucking hard to get away from, right? Like, fuck The Walking Dead. You people are just idiots. You know what I mean? Right? But these fucking zombies, these alpha zombies are fucking badass, right? Like that like the zombie queen gave me very much like Scarlet Witch vibes, like in her like multiverse of madness, like horror kind of vibe. It was pretty cool. I mean, she had the headdress and shit, and the hair color was the same. So, I mean, but that's the kind of vibes I got, and I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it. I was like, okay, if zombies were like this, like you know what I mean? Like if zombies weren't so fucking just like brain dead and slow, they would actually be really cool. You know what I mean? But most of the time zombies are fucking garbage. So, but whatever. So then we see the crew and they find a whole bunch of hibernating zombies and they have to like navigate through them without like shining their light and shining light in their face or touching them, right? So they have to kind of like slip through. And so as the group is heading through, at the very end of the group, the head of security guy, his name is Martin, and him and this chick, Chambers, they have like a small back and forth, and she's like, "Fuck you, I'm not gonna let you go last. You're up to something." So as they're kind of sneaking through, the fucking Martin grabs one of the things that is showing them the path, right? He grabs one and throws it down this other path, and so it kind of fucks the girl over. So she's like following this, and then she ends up starting to get attacked. So then she starts getting swarmed, and she's like, I have to say, she's fucking badass, bro. Like she was fucking cutting them up and stabbing them in the face, shooting them. Like she could hold her own. She was doing fucking badass, right? And at the beginning, she was one of the people who put her hand up that said that she never killed a zombie before. And I was like, I don't know. That's some bullshit, bro. You were fucking taking them out like nothing. So this basically causes a huge commotion. All the zombies start waking up. So the crew has to fight their way through. And then they get out. And this is when Mikey's like, "Yo, where's Chambers?" And he's talking to Martin, and Martin's like, "I don't know, man. She was right behind me." And he's like, "No, fuck you, bro. You did something." And then we see Chambers like smash through some glass, and she's just like fucking taking them out still, bro. And then, but she just can't get away. She just gets fucking swarmed. So she gets bit. Mikey shoots the gas tank on her back, just killing all the zombies around them, kind of, I guess, giving them that opening for them to get away. You know what I mean? So the crew get to the hotel. They take out the zombies that, you know what I mean, are fucking waddling around inside the hotel and whatnot. And then they actually find another set of blueprints. And at this point, they're like, oh, this slimy motherfucker, he sent other people, right? But then the crew split up. We see Lily and Martin, they go outside and they're trying to like draw the zombies out. Scott and Kate go to turn the power on to the hotel, and basically they have this like small like heart to heart, and it's like, yeah, didn't really work, don't care, you know. um but he does get the power back on, and then we cut to Mikey, Dieter, and Vander, and they're making their way down to the vault. They got to blow some shit up to get to the vault, right? They see another crew there who kind of fucked up the key card system, right? So they blow the door. We cut back to, so Dieter ends up finding the booby trap. So Vander goes to basically just leaves. Like he's going to go find something to trigger the traps. We then jump back to Lily and Martin, and the Alpha Queen is now approaching them. We then jump to the Alpha King, and he takes one of the three women that he has like chained up somewhere. And we also see that Gita is still alive, right? We then go back to Martin and Lily. They capture the queen, and they fucking and Martin cuts her fucking head off. Like I don't understand how he thought that was gonna be a good fucking move. You know what I mean? So essentially, so yeah, so they cut off the head. So we cut back to Vander, and now he's come down with like fucking zombies, and he's trying to figure out how to get the zombies to go and trigger the trap. So he finally gets one to go, and he gets fucking like shot up with darts, shot like supposed to be non-lethal, but he gets shot with a whole bunch of darts, whatever. The next one, he gets fucking shot with bullets, like ripped up with fucking bullets. But he keeps walking, and then he steps on the last plate, and then fucking Star Wars just gets fucking smushed. You know what I mean? And it's like, I thought this was supposed to be non-lethal, and I think that's what they said in the movie too, right? And it's just like, what the fuck, right? So basically, Vander and Dieter, they get to the vault, right? Start working on it. We then cut to the pilot, and she is not having any luck with the chopper, but she tells everybody, yeah, we're good to go. So hurry up and bring the money. And then we cut back to the crew, and they're watching the news. And this is where they find out they moved the time for the fucking nuke to go off up 24 hours. So now they have basically an hour and 20 minutes to get the fuck out of there, right? Get the money and get the fuck out. So they go down to check on Dieter, and basically they distract him and he fucks up. So then he tells the crew, I need half an hour, silence, no interruptions. If I fuck this up, the safe is locked forever, right? So he needs 30 minutes, which basically gives them what? 40, no, sorry. That gives them 50 minutes to get the money onto the chopper and get the fuck out of there. Then we see the king, right? He heard the queen's fucking scream, right? So we see the king, and now he's on horseback and like on a zombie horse. I'm like, bro, they got everything in this bitch. Like, these are the coolest fucking zombies. I'm not gonna lie. Like, if zombies were always like this, I'd be like, all right, zombies are cool, supernatural. So he finds the headless queen's body. You see, he kind of freaks out. So he picks up the body, he takes it back to his base, right? We then see Dieter finally gets the vault open, and the crew celebrate very quickly, and then they start packing up the money. So the king carries the queen's body in back inside, and he places it down, and then he fucking reaches into the fucking, like, he digs his hands into her stomach, and he pulls out a fucking fetus. Like, they were making zombie babies? Zombies can make babies in this universe? Like, bro, I'm telling you, these are some of the coolest fucking zombies, you know what I mean? Right? So he fucking screams, triggers all the rest of the zombies to fucking scream, right? And they all start freaking out. So then we see Scott, and he realizes that Kate is gone. So he's like, oh, fuck, I know where she went. She went to that hotel where the king and all of them are to go and find fucking Gita, right? So then we cut and we see the king, and he basically is ordering all the fucking zombies to rush the hotel where the crew is at, right? And we see Kate is outside, and she's kind of like hiding out. So she sneaks by and she gets into the Olympus Hotel to go start looking for Gita. So we then cut to the crew, and they were essentially getting into this elevator, and as the elevator doors open, the zombies kind of pop out, and one of them just grabs fucking Maria's head and just spins it around. Like, just fucking snaps her neck, turns it around, kills her instantly. So Scott kind of fucking snaps and just starts fucking them all up, right? And he kills the majority of them. And then we see, then the crew's like, oh fuck. So then they're all trying to like escape. I guess they had this like escape route planned before, right? The same route that Kate would have used to get the fuck out. You know what I mean? And then we see that they get betrayed by Martin, piece of shit. So he literally was like, yeah, you know, all that money in the vault ain't worth shit. What's really worth the money is this head, right? So he fucking bounces and like locks them in. So now they're kind of stuck. So then Lily, she takes the saw and like cuts a fucking hole. And at this point, the zombies are now breaking through the top of the elevator, and they get in. And Dieter and Vander are like fighting them off, right? And then this is basically where the king shows up. The king and Vander basically like they're like, all right, let's knuckle up, right? So they go to have like a fist fight, and obviously Vander gets his ass beat, like no contest. The zombie dude beats the fuck out of him, right? And Dieter actually like saves him, pushes him into the vault, right? Closes the vault, and as the vault doors closing, we see Dieter get grabbed by the king. They don't show us him dying, but obviously he got fucked. So at this point, Martin learns that he doesn't have the head, and also the zombie tiger fucking shows up behind him, and the zombie tiger just fucks him up. It was epic. His fucking mouth on his head. That was fucking great. So he gets fucked up. We cut back to Scott, Mikey, Lily, and they're fighting their way out through the casino. It looks like they're starting to get overrun, and they pretty much do. Mikey ends up getting bit, but he blows himself up as Scott and Lily jump into this like elevator, right? So we then jump to Kate. She's looking around. And then we see the zombie Bert is now creeping around as well in the same Olympus hotel. So then we go back to Scott and Lily. They make it to the chopper, but as soon as they're about to leave, the king comes out, and Lily's like, "All right, go." She pulls out the head, and she's like, "I got this. I'll distract him. You guys get the fuck out of here." And this guy just throws this fucking like his like staff of like rebarb. He just fucking throws it through his shoulder, and she fucking drops the fucking head, and it just splatters on the ground, and the fucking king is pissed. But again, we don't get to see him kill Lily, so whatever. So Scott tells the pilot, "Okay, Kate's over at the Olympus. We got to go get her," right? And at this point, we cut back to Kate, where she finds Gita, and as they're trying to escape, fucking Kurt shows up, but he gets taken out fucking hella quick. I mean, it was very pointless, but whatever, right? She takes him out. And then so like the king is now back in the Olympus Hotel. He spots them, and then Scott shows up and kind of shoots a grenade at the king, sending the king flying. So they escape up to the roof. And then once again, as they're getting on the fucking chopper, the motherfucking king shows up, right? And so they go, 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 go. They start to take off, right? And this motherfucker jumps from the roof onto the fucking plane and starts fighting with fucking Scott, right? And obviously this guy's kicking Scott's ass, and a whole bunch of shit goes on, and the fucking pilot ends up getting shot, right? So she could barely fly the fucking plane now. And Kate basically smashes the fucking zombie, and it gives fucking Buddy time to get back to his gun because the gun got knocked away. And right before he shoots the zombie fucking bites Scott. Then we see the nuke. The nuke fucking hits, knocks the fucking plane out of the sky. But, oh, so sorry. As Scott gets bit, he fucking shoots the zombie in the face, killing the zombie. They get knocked out of the sky. Here's another stupid part. But it looks like everybody else is dead except for Kate. Kate is virtually unharmed, right? Which makes no fucking sense, right? And what the fuck happened to Gita? Gita is just fucking gone. She just doesn't give a fuck about Gita. This whole issue is because she went to go look for fucking Gita, or they could have just left before. You know what I mean? And yeah, so she finds her dad. Her dad gives her some money, right? And he dies, starts to turn. She shoots him in the head, right? End of her story. We don't see anything else. Or some military helicopter comes to pick her up. And that's basically. Then we see after the explosion, we see that Vander survived. He comes out, he's got 3 bags of money. He steals a car, he goes to an airport, and he buys a private jet, right? So as he's on this jet, he's celebrating, and we see him, he's kind of gets a little woozy, so he goes to the bathroom. And this whole time, I'm like, yo, this guy got bit. Like, why is he covering his shoulder like that? So he has this scarf thing covering his shoulder. So while he's in the bathroom, he fucking picks up the thing, and boom, we see he's fucking bit. And they're about to land in New Mexico, and it looks like he's about to change into a zombie. So if they were going to make a sequel, fucking Vander brings it to Mexico, and we're getting another outbreak. Like, they were so close to finishing it. And this motherfucking greedy bastard now is gone to go affect Mexico. So I don't think we're getting a sequel, but that's the end of the movie. So yeah, overall, I mean, the movie was okay. It could have totally used a lot more use a lot less disposition and just had more fucking killing of zombies. I think that would have made a much better fucking movie. You know what I mean? Like, the movie was like 2 hours plus, and it's like they made this an hour and a half of them just fucking zombies up. I think it would have done much better, right? They also cut out Chris D'Elia, so every time they showed the pilot, right? When she was with the crew, she looked like she was like chopped out on a green. It looked really fucking bad, right? But other than that, the fucking like kill scenes and them fighting zombies was really well done. Overall, I really, really enjoyed it. What about you?
Pretty interesting movie. Yeah, those zombies are interesting because they aren't like any other zombies out there. Yeah, the combat's pretty good too.
Yeah, no, the zombies were really cool. Surprisingly, because yeah, I hate zombies. I think they're lame as fuck. But yeah, no, I think Zack Snyder did a decent job. The story was kind of meh, but overall, it was pretty pretty fucking good, right? So yeah, I don't really know what else to say about it. Go check it out. It's on Netflix. Uh, But yeah, and so next week we're taking a break. So yeah, I'm gonna be on vacation, but Ty is not coming with, so he will be streaming Days Gone. And so yeah, so stay tuned to YouTube for that. And then so in 2 weeks when I get back, we are going to be doing another horror movie that we have not figured out yet. And then we're gonna end the Spooktober. We will end with a lighthearted review of Hocus Pocus 1 and 2. So yeah, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, so make sure you go check out our socials. All the socials, Media Night Pod. That's where you can find us. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Our YouTube is Media Night Podcast. And we are part of the Geek Talk Network. So make sure you check out the other show on the network, What in the Anime with Dustin and Tyler. They talk anime. So if you want anime news and all that stuff, check them out. And yeah, so with that being said, it's been real, Ty. Deuces.